Thank you so much. It's incredible. That was like a moment out of a dream that you would have never even come up with. The idea that the amazing artist and soprano Renée Fleming would actually even say your name in front of an audience. So thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do, both on the stage and off the stage. Your advocacy and your voice lent to these issues and lent to all of our enjoyment is just so incredibly valuable. So thank you. Can we all just give one more round of applause, please? Thank you as well, of course, to Christopher and the entire team at LA Opera for your leadership and your vision, bringing us all here together today. I also want to acknowledge Supervisor Hilda Solis, who you'll hear from a little bit later today, who led on the board motion to adopt this as Arts and Health Week, the inaugural one for LA County. I love it. Yep, one more round. This is what we like to say right in the biz, in the policy biz, momentum. Like, let's see what we can do with this, y'all. Let's leverage this up. I also want to acknowledge all of our esteemed county partners. We've got county department leaders in the room. We have health partners. We have nonprofits. We have arts organizations, artists, public sector colleagues, and philanthropy and funders with us today. And everything you do is so critical. And so thank you so much for being here in person and really being part of the vibes in the room. I also would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Dr. Maria Rosario Jackson providing those remarks as the chair of the National Endowment for the Arts, and say we're so proud that she hails from Los Angeles and actually even was a co-chair of our LA County Cultural Equity and Inclusion Initiative Advisory Committee, helping us to lead the work of expanding arts and cultural equity. So 3 cheers for Maria Rosario and everything happening at the NEA. And how LA is rooted. I have to also, of course, just quick thanks to my staff at the Department of Arts and Culture and our appointed arts commissioners. I'm going to share a presentation just reflecting a little bit on the notion of arts and health as a lens for what we do in LA County. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about how I've been thinking about this in our work. So, as was mentioned before, the LA County Department of Arts and Culture, our mission is quite broad: advance arts, culture, and creativity. But as we lean into the vision for our work, the idea that LA County could be a place where arts are integral to civic life for all of our people and communities. And when we begin to unpack that, it means that not only are we first and foremost here to ensure a robust and thriving arts sector through support directly to artists and arts organizations, but also to seed those cross-sector arts intersections across areas of civic life with a lens of equity to ensure that truly all of our people and communities can benefit from this work. We have a bunch of core programs and areas, and I'm only going to speak on a few of them today. But here you can see a bit of the breadth of our work as the local arts agency for LA County. So grant making to arts education, commissioning artists for civic art, a small but mighty research and evaluation team. So we love data and research, and we know how important that is in validating this work. And organizations like the World Health Organization, we're so happy is here with us today. I want to just take a moment to pause, especially as we're talking about bridging with another sector, or as we're talking about from a public sector point of view. We find sometimes it's helpful to think about, why are we investing in the arts and why do we want to grow this investment? So we know that the arts are vital to quality of life, to civic spaces, and well-being for all of us. We also know that in a place like LA County, the arts are core to our creative economy. And this is actually larger than many other sectors for here in LA, as well as statewide in California, and actually even across the nation, with $200 billion of annual economic output and activity from this sector. Yet we're also deeply aware that there are disparities in access to arts and cultural resources, opportunities, and even careers in the arts. So while I like to say there are arts and culture in all people and places, rich cultural diversity, especially here in LA, but it means that not everybody has the same level of resources and access. And so we've got to invest in arts also to address inequity or historic disinvestment and to really expand that pie. We also know the arts are super powerful in their unique way of advancing social change and allowing us to even address root causes, systemic racism, the ability to promote belonging, the ability to embrace identity or build empathy for other people's circumstances and stories. And perhaps most relevant for us today, of course, as Renée was speaking to, the arts are now proven to be important and valuable for healing, development, and healthy communities. And there are so many incredible examples coming forward now of the arts, whether it's the arts in mental health being well established in arts therapy, or whether it's the increasing evidence of rehabilitative use of the arts and neuroscience, or whether it's the fact that Americans for the Arts has learned that arts can speed the recovery time of someone who's in a hospital by nearly a day if they see nature or they see art from their hospital room. Add that up, and that cost pre-COVID was about $56 billion in savings if you just looked at the people who stay in a hospital for a day or longer if they were to see art in their experience. We also know on a community level that having a higher proportion of cultural resources in your community, so artists, arts organizations, programs rooted in your community, that community is statistically correlated to have better outcomes in health, in education, and in public safety, even if those folks never went to the arts program. It's at a community level. So this is so huge for all of us to really step into the full embrace of the role of the arts and the power here. And of course, art is a powerful way to message health, to do awareness to any kind of civic issue we might have. So in a word, arts heal. Now, briefly, I'll just acknowledge that LA County is an incredible and vast and rich arts ecosystem. So hundreds of arts organizations, thousands of artists and creative workers, and we continue to be rated high, in fact, some of the highest in terms of our vitality, our arts and cultural vitality, and as a creative hub in the nation, known, of course, as a creative capital. So we have more theaters here, for example, than actually most other cities do in the entire country. We have incredible performing arts centers like the Music Center here today. We have music, film, literary, entertainment, design is incredible here, in addition to what we might think of as screen industries and Hollywood. Now, all of this is a sector. All of this is also a platform for engagement, for belonging, for reflection, and well-being. And so one of our joys and our core functions, of course, is to support this sector and to help advance all of that work. So now I'm going to speak to a few key examples of how we're advancing the intersection of arts and health. And I'll tell you that I was really inspired by being invited to collaborate on this initiative, and it made me actually look again anew at all of our work. And here are some of the examples that I wanted to share with you today. So one of the ways we advance this work is through civic art. Having art, as actually was mentioned before in the hospital example, and shortening hospital stays, having art in the environment of a health agency, a wellness center, or a hospital is one important way that the arts can play a role. And through our civic art division, we commission artists for civic art, our public art practice, and have been able to cite works like this incredible one behind me. This is part of the new County Department of Mental Health building, and this is an incredible artist named Amir Falah, and these are portals to allow both staff and visitors to step into another place, to have a space of reflection, to be able to embrace and really hone in and lean into their own well-being as they do their work. Another example for here is the Sheila Kuehl Family Wellness Center, ensuring that when youth and families come for services, they not only have a welcoming place to arrive, but we also worked with that artist to create coloring books, for example, for each of the children who arrive to be able to spend the time or even take a little mental break from why they might be there that day. Here we have artist Floyd Strickland, who is using images of people from the neighborhood as well as inspirational figures like Martin Luther King to reflect hope in the community at this wellness center. And some of those incredible images are now being fashioned into steel on the facade. We also have this incredible mural by artist Andrew Hem that reflects children at play, going on, achieving their dreams at a child center at LAC USC. And here a three-dimensional artwork that allows folks to actually experience it, embody it, explore it as they're at that rehabilitation center. The new MLK Behavioral Health Center in South LA has an incredible artwork on the facade. This one was commissioned by our team with artist Cliff Garden, and you can see the 3 columns there. It's called Water to Wishes. And I want to share that every civic art project that we do is required to have some level of community engagement. And in fact, this is often one of the ways that the community has the most interaction with the county's presence, with the development of the capital project and the building, where they are actually brought on to help us select the artist and even sometimes to help us build this work. In this one, in addition to the community's involvement, text on the facade was written in collaboration with poet Bruce Lemon Jr. and professor and author Cynthia Gonzalez, who drew inspiration from the diverse community of Willowbrook to form and devise those words. Briefly, I want to just say the county is also embarking on this incredible initiative called Restorative Care Villages, which are going to site different kinds of services all in one place. And here are just a few glimpses of some projects that are in design coming up for those sites. And each of them in their own way will reflect the community. In this instance, it's Boyle Heights. This one right here is just incredible photography and multimedia artist Star Montana. And she's been living and born and raised in Boyle Heights. And this is an image she has selected to be the impetus for her work to reflect the community. Here another by another artist who's had a long career located in Boyle Heights. And here artist Patrick Martinez is building on the quinceañera to really reflect the tradition of our majority Latino LA County. Finally, I just want to acknowledge we also do conservation. Sometimes the work is not new, but it was there, but needs to be refurbished. And so here we have noted artist Hugo Ballin, who has done a number of frescoes and different works all throughout the county. And this is an incredible archway at LAC USC's Wellness Center that needed to be updated. And you can see actually some before and after pictures where the gold leaf with the conservation team that we engaged was updated so that now thousands who pass its halls will see this message of health and healing. I want to just briefly thank, she's not here, but I'm going to say her name anyway, our Director of Civic Art, Grace Ramirez-Gaston, and our entire team for all of the work they do, whether it's at libraries, parks, wellness centers, but I'm really pleased to be able to share this taste of our work in the health setting. Turning now to grant making. Later today, you're going to hear from a number of incredible organizations and what they do, and they're doing off-site demonstrations as well. So just briefly, I'm going to highlight a few additional organizations among the 500 or so that we are proud to fund. For example, we have Rancho Los Amigos Foundation, the Rancho Los Amigos site in Downey, which supports therapeutic visual arts and arts programs for artists with disabilities. And here you actually see how they nurture artists with disabilities so that they can also give back to the community. We heard a bit about Dance for Parkinson's, and here we have Invertigo Dance, and they're Dancing Through Parkinson's program. And in our dance programs that we support are also organizations like Critical Mass Dance Company, partnering with another grantee of ours, Peace Over Violence, for dance empowerment classes, thinking about those surviving sexual or domestic violence in LA County. We have Diavolo Dance Company working with veterans and first responders in mental health through dance, to name a few. Homes for Families is a recipient of our Community Impact Arts Grant. That's where we're funding arts programs in non-arts organizations. So if you have a social service or social justice organizations or a health organization, but who's using arts in your programming, you would be eligible for the county to provide a grant for that program. This is Homes for Families, who works with low-income veterans and their families through trauma-informed arts programming. And again, we look forward to hearing this afternoon session with the incredible array of organizations that have been put together for that program, many of whom are also our grantees. I want to also give a special shout out to the role of youth and work in arts education. As we think about arts education, we may not be thinking so much about health per se, but we know that arts are a critical and integral part of every young person's development both in school and out of school in their community. And so through the work of our Arts Education Division, led by Denise Grandy, who you're going to hear from later today, we coordinate the LA County Arts Education Collective, which is one of the nation's largest public-private arts education collective impact models to make sure the arts are core and a part of every child's growth and development. And so in this work, we're advancing a number of strategies, from supporting in-school arts education and systems sustenance and change, to funding healing-centered arts education as a justice prevention strategy, to supporting curriculum resources, as well as advocacy and public will to ensure equity in arts education for all our youth. And so later today, you will hear from Denise about the creative well-being approach. And that's a new strategic collaboration between the LA County Department of Arts and Culture, the county's Office of Child Protection, Department of Mental Health, and the Arts for Healing and Justice Network, which is a network of multiple arts organizations coming together to support healing-centered arts for youth who have experienced trauma or are systems involved to build their social emotional learning, and to support the adults who work with those youth. I want to mention also, and it's come up a lot today, partnership. It's also come up today, cross-sector collaboration, as I've called it. And one of the ways we build this is through our new program, which is the Creative Strategist Artist in Residence program. Here we're placing an artist with another county department as part of our Cultural Equity and Inclusion Initiative to sit alongside the staff, to strategize arts and creative strategies for expanding equity through their mission. And we're so pleased in the first few years of this program, we have been able to place an artist with so many of our county partners that you see on the screen. And whether it's parks, libraries, mental health, or others, and a few that are notable for today's audience are artists who have done projects for a toolkit for mental health, or community engagement around the Vision Zero initiative to avoid pedestrian fatalities in so many of our communities disproportionately affected by that issue. And right now, a partnership with the Office of Violence Prevention, which is part of public health, on storytelling, survivors, and those who've had experience with violence to humanize it as a public policy issue. I'm also excited that just now we placed one of our newest artists, Carol Zoe, with the county's new aging department to build a foundation for intergenerational and creative aging programs to serve older adults in the county senior centers that I hope can be a model that we can then scale while learning from others. But sometimes you have to be a guest at somebody else's party. And so we've also been really pleased to be invited to partner and support other county initiatives that are interested in utilizing the arts to move their work forward. And so here I'm showing an initiative by the county's Human Relations Commission called LA versus Hate. LA versus Hate is really a response to the unfortunate rise in violence incidents as well as actual hate crimes, and put forward a message of anti-hate, as well as was pointing people to the resource of the new 211. These, of course, take a mental toll, a physical toll, and of course a toll on our communities in terms of belonging as well as public safety. And the idea here was to use graphic design and artwork as the main method of delivery for this work. Finally, I will just share, we're proud to have been a partner in the last few years of We Rise, which is the County Department of Mental Health initiative that, again, really utilized the arts in a huge, ambitious way to move forward mental health messaging, outreach, and community engagement. It was the vision of our now outgoing Director of Mental Health, Dr. Jonathan Sharon. And so we just applaud him for his huge vision and for recognizing arts as a key opportunity for folks to find or reclaim a sense of purpose that allows them to then embrace their own mental health. And on the words that you see in this slide, none of us do it alone. And so none of us is well until all of us are well. And with that, I'm going to leave it there in terms of my presentation, and thank you so much for your time today.